I'm Miss Terry. My role as an educator is to be there for my students. My passion and love for learning will wear off onto my students where they have that desire and passion to learn as well. Through this pandemic, I realized that my philosophies and my viewpoint of education did not change. Instead, my delivery, how I taught my lessons changed. I still care and love each every single student, even though they are being taught at home. I still need to be there for my students. I realize that it's very critical to develop strong communications with parents, creating a strong community with one another, and having engaging lessons really does help students in their academics. When this pandemic first happened, I realized that my communication with parents wasn't as strong as I thought it was. The parents I communicated at the beginning of the year continued after this pandemic. But the parents I moderately talked with didn't I hardly heard from them once this pandemic happened. Next year, I plan on developing stronger communications with all parents to ensure that that communication is there, that they know that they can reach out to me. I plan on doing this by having weekly newsletters, using Class Dojo, and calling every parent the first week of school to let them know the positives that their students has already accomplished the first week of school. I also value that students need to be having communications with one another. I always love having turn and talk with your partner, having students work with one another because I do value their socialization, and that's where true learning occurs. When this pandemic happened, I had a hard time with getting students to work together in an effective manner. I wish that I developed and I started doing team bonding activities sooner when this pandemic happened. I plan next year every week to be having team bonding activities for my students where that they know that they can use one another to learn and develop that love for learning. This week I did a lot of fun team bonding activities such as a scavenger hunt, Pictionary, and fun activities like that, and I had a high turnover rate with students engaged in those lessons. Lastly, I do value having fun and engaging lessons where students want to get online and learn. Lessons need to be relevant for students. When this online learning happened, I needed to make sure that students learned the required material. So my lessons were shorter, but with more enriched material to make sure that they learned the required material that they needed to know. I also made sure that the videos were engaging and fun. My most success was when I went out and I did hiking videos to show my students this is what we learned in school and this is how it all connects together in our natural ecosystem since we taught fourth grade. It loved it. I had taught so much material in a short time with real life experiences and exposures. I had a lot of students call and we did online videos talking about those, and I found it very successful and students wanted to know more. How did you know that, Miss Terry? Well, let's talk about this activity that we learned in school. And then they started to realize how it all came together, and it was so it was a blast. Now, as I stated, this pandemic did not change me as a teacher. Instead, it taught me that my role is still for my students. How I taught things changed drastically, but it changed for the better in the circumstances that we had. I made sure I called my students to let them know that I was still here for them, that I did videos with them one on one to help them with these materials that they don't understand. They needed that help. And I wanted to make sure that they knew that they valued as an individual. My philosophy as an educator is to be there for my students. My students' identity does not change where they're at academically. Students need to know that they are valued as an individual, and they need to be learned and taught those strengths of how to use their personal value and how they learn and different strategies that they can learn to help others around them. When they develop that understanding, that's when lifelong learning success comes from, where students have a passion for learning. I hope I can bring that passion to your school. Thank you.